Carrie Morey is busy these days running her Callie's Hot Little Biscuit shops and taking care of family along with writing a second book called Hot Little Suppers. I talk one-on-one with Carrie for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Carrie Morey, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you.
Oh, it's always great to see you. Obviously, you are the founder and CEO of Callie's Hot Little Biscuit, which have locations here in Charleston, the city market, Charlotte, Atlanta, and hopefully more to come.
Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see.
And in between it, obviously, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a community leader, you're an entrepreneur, and now, obviously, you're an author as well with the new book called Hot Little Suppers, Simple Recipes to Feed Family and Friends. In this era, Carrie, how do you feed family and friends?
Well, as simply and as flavorful as possible. How's that for an answer?
That's amazing. That works for me. And I know that Hot Little Suppers is more than just a book on cooking families. It's an invitation to get together and have some fun in the kitchen. Well, who is Carrie Morey in the kitchen?
Well, I think I'm the same person that I am in all the other facets of my life. I love to feed people. It is the way I communicate, and it is the way I celebrate, commiserate, all of the above. So we all have to eat, and I feel as if it is my duty as the matriarch of our family to provide delicious, wholesome, tasty food for our family. Not so much for nourishment, although that is super important, but for me, we have built our family around the supper table and put a lot of importance on gathering each day to do all of the things that you do when you come back together as a family. And we have made that very important and definitely a pillar for our household. So even if I'm not cooking a 5-course meal and it's grabbing a roasted chicken and a bag of salad and a baguette, we are still sitting down to try to connect from the day, which is super important for us.
Why do you disconnect when you're at the kitchen table?
Well, we have pretty strict rules around no phones allowed, which I'm sure most people do. And you know, it's no outside interference, right? So we don't really have television on in our house very often, but we do have music. I mean, we play music all day long, or some kind of public radio in the background. So everything's off, and we're concentrating on the 5 of us or whoever is joining us at the supper table. We have games that we play. We have conversation cards, but mostly it's just a recap of how was your day, what happened, what do we have going forward, and how's everybody doing? A little gut check for everyone.
What gut check are you doing right now on yourself?
That is a daily, multiple times a day, trying to figure out how to keep myself healthy and going and trying to accomplish all the things that I want to accomplish, which sometimes is just getting through the day unscathed.
I understand that.
So, I have to-do lists on my phone, in my book, on my paper, and, just trying to get through as much as possible. And also just remembering what's most important.
What is most important right now?
Well, for me, it's family and just grounding ourselves, and that involves having good meals and taking time to let the noise of the outside work, sports, drama, whatever it is, go. Even if it's 15 minutes. Sometimes we only have 15 minutes for supper, but it is very invigorating to have that time where you just sit down. And also the art of cooking supper for my family is very therapeutic for me too. So, last night I had a 7 p.m. Zoom call, and I was so into cooking and sitting down with my family that I completely forgot about, because I put my phone away,
Yes, ma'am.
and I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning, and that's when I remembered it. And I don't know that I've ever done that. And after I talk to you, I will be calling them to profusely apologize.
Sure.
That's just not something I do. But that tells me that I've got too much on my plate. So I've got to, take a little bit off and remember what's most important.
Absolutely. What is the art of cooking today, Carrie?
The art of cooking, I mean, I think it's different for everybody. I think that it's, for me, it's enjoying preparing food for nourishment and for enjoyment for friends and family. And it is whatever I'm craving at the moment. And it's different every day. So I love it because it relaxes me, it gives me a creative outlet, and it also provides a space for me to connect with my family and friends.
What is that creative outlet for you right now with all the restaurants and the family and friends?
I think it's definitely cooking. I was craving raw tuna and crispy rice last night, and I, didn't really have a recipe. So I was able to wing it, and it was really fun. And that's probably why I missed my Zoom, because I got caught up in making something new and serving it and seeing the accolades and the excitement from my family who gobbled it up. So, I mean, there's just a lot of joy that brings me. And there's always good when you can step outside of your day-to-day hectic, crazy life and just say, okay, I've got to forget about that for a minute and recharge and refuel myself, because otherwise I won't be able to continue on solving the daily work problems and family problems and all of the above that we all have.
What are those daily work problems that you want to get rid of?
Well, it's a double-edged sword, because we are trying really hard to grow right now in a very difficult time to grow within our economy and our country. So while we saw 30% growth in our company last year, we saw 80% increase in COGS. So we are struggling we're in this place in business where we need a bigger facility, but we don't, have the means to do that. Inflation is making it hard for us to make a profit that keeps us running efficiently and fiscally responsible. So those are the things going on. And we're kind of at a crossroads in our business. Like, where do we go and how do we see more growth with also keeping in mind protecting our employees and the integrity of the product. So I feel a little bit like I'm stuck in pluff mud right now, and I can see where I want to go, but I can't get there. And for somebody like me who loves to solve problems and gets energy and confidence from that, we're not solving problems on the daily, which makes sleeping difficult and moving forward difficult. And that's why those family suppers are so important, because those are moments where I can say, there's nothing I can do. I need to shut it off. This is going to reinvigorate me and energize me. And then I'll get back up tomorrow and start all over again. We're hitting roadblock after roadblock. And so you have to have something that can, re-energize you to get you excited to try again, because you can't quit. We're in it. So we got to keep going. And sometimes you got to step away from it and then go back to it. And, I'm not complaining, because those problems I know mean eventually we will push through and break those barriers and grow. And so when you don't have the problems, there's a good chance that you're not growing, and problems usually bring growth, even if they're very hard. So
Yeah, that's a lot there. Oh my God. And
that's heavy, right? That's heavy. Sorry. Had to unload. Thanks. It's like therapy, Quintin.
Yeah, there you go. Hopefully Jesus will hear all of your concerns and help you out there. And I've gotten up at 2, 3 in the morning thinking, oh my God, what can I do next as far as interviews? So I understand where you're coming from. Grow smartly.
Ugh, I wish I had the answer. I've been trying to do that for 15 years, and I'm a huge believer in growth slowly and steadily is smart, but not everybody agrees with that. I think it's individual. It's what you think is what's right for you. And I think a lot of times people have a great idea and start a company and feel this pressure to grow quickly. And I always, when I have the opportunity, encourage people to say, you do have a great idea and this will be a great business, but how does it fit into your life that you want to lead? Right? And we have to remember that, because what's the point if you're not enjoying life? And so I'm constantly reminding myself, even though this problem is super heavy, I need to stop and take time to make supper and connect with my family and enjoy life, because we aren't meant to grind away at work 24 hours a day, because it's unfulfilling. And you're never going to look back and go, God, I really wish I'd worked more. You're going to say, I wish I'd had more fun and spent time with family. And if life isn't fun and fulfilling within your lifestyle and the way you want to lead your life, then it's probably not worth living.
What is that life that you want to really lead?
Well, I started the business because I wanted to be able to fuel my creative passion and create, I always call it a side hustle. It certainly isn't a side hustle now, but originally that's how it started. Was I want to create a little side creative projects that can allow me to be at home with my daughters. And that was 16 years ago. And now my oldest is a senior in high school, which is hard to believe. So if I look back on it, which I don't often, I do think that I have achieved that. A lot of people would look at our business and say, you've really taken a long time to grow. And my response to that is, you're right, I have, but I've been growing as my children have been growing. And while I may have missed out on growth opportunities, I've never missed out on watching my children and being a part of their rearing. So that is my priority, but I recognize that that is not everybody's priority. And so I encourage people to say, what is it that you're doing this for? And what do you want to, at the end of the road, go, I'm so proud that I did that. And people always say, what do you want to be known for? Being a biscuit queen or whatever people say. And I say, no, I want to be known for being a great mom. And, part of that means that I need to be a good role model and show that if you want to have balance and you want to have it all, then you can. So I think that working and creating is a huge part of that. And trying to figure out that balance of doing it all.
What growth opportunities that you have missed out on when it comes to your brand?
Well, I just think in general, over the last 15 years, there were many times when I could have gotten bigger faster, and that would have compromised my priority, which was, it would have taken me away from my family. And it happens every day. Like, do you want to go speak in this state to this group of people? Do you want to do this? And all of that stuff takes you away from your family, and so you have to prioritize what is it that's most important. And some things are worth that. And anybody that knows me, when I travel or I speak or I leave, my house, it is how quickly can I get back? So how can I have it all? Can I, would it be easier to leave the day before and not have to get up at 4 a.m? Yeah, it would. But you know what? I'll get to have breakfast with my family and still get to do my work and be with my family. So it's constantly putting them first and thinking of how can I have it all and be able to spend as much time with my family as I can.
And I know you were busy, so stop me whenever you need to. But can you have it all, Miss Carrie?
I think maybe not every single day of your life, but I think if you were to take a step back and look at it, as long as you are very focused on what that means, having it all, yeah, you can do anything you want to do. But it takes discipline and practice, and it's not always perfect. There are days where my work comes before my family, but it's a moment in time. The overall, this is the way I want to lead my life. I have. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Absolutely. How have you been able to discipline yourself?
Well, my husband would tell you there are a lot of rules. I've got to get up at this time. I've got to exercise before I go to work. I've got to, eat well. I've got to leave work every day, whether the work is done or not, by this time so that I can go pick up our daughters from school and go to their volleyball and do, it's being disciplined, which actually makes you super focused at work to get your work done so that you can get to your priority, or at least that's how it is for me. So I would say lots of rules, focus, discipline, and yeah, it's a little hairy. It's not without stress, but I'm a believer that a little bit of stress is good for you.
I'll take that. I'll take that into account. Let me get back to hot little suppers. Obviously, it includes material about staples to keep on hand for putting suppers together, carry secrets to organizing your pantry, and beautiful photography throughout that captures techniques, finished dishes, and warm lifestyle shots of Carrie's family. If I were to open your pantry today, what would I find inside there?
My God, I could take you on a tour right now. I'm looking at it. It's organized with three open shelves of vinegars, spices, flours. We have a baking section. We have spice section. Not a ton of canned goods. We have just the basics and very minimal processed food. Lots of wine glasses, lots of platters. It's a well-stocked kitchen, but it's humble and flavorful.
Flavorful. And speaking of which, let's talk about it. It's warm outside right now. It's a little windy outside at 9 a.m. here, but with the warm weather preview that we're enjoying, what hot little supper would you prepare right now if you could?
Well, that's funny that you should say that because today is my youngest daughter's 14th birthday, and thank you. I am preparing, she requested fried chicken, and so there's a fried chicken recipe and hot little suppers and everything slaw, which is the best slaw that goes with fried chicken and really everything. The recipe is for fried chicken sandwiches, but we are making bone-in chicken, and we're having 14 people over for supper tonight, along with David Leibowitz, not mine, macaroni and cheese. So that is what we are making for our hot little supper tonight.
Oh, that's just amazing. And I know in the book it says this: nobody's better equipped to tackle the subject of bringing family into the process than Carrie Morey, who grew up cooking with her mother and whose daughters have worked side by side with her in the kitchen and the business. What is that subject of bringing family into the process?
I think there's a fine line, and I've obviously started the business with my mother and it didn't work out, but I'm forever grateful that she went into business with me in the beginning because I probably had too much fear to do it on my own. So I'm very grateful for that and the inspiration that gave me the idea to start the business. So while we didn't work out as business partners, I owe it all to her because it never would be possible without her. And then along those same lines, we have 3 daughters. Our oldest has worked at Hot Little Biscuits since she was 14, and she could run the store, and she's amazing and will be sorely missed when she goes to college next year. But my second daughter worked for a little bit and it didn't work out, and we had to say, you know what, this isn't the job for you. And so that was hard, but we have to make sure that we make choices not just for our family but for anybody that you employ. That is this the right job for you? Are you doing a good job, and is this where you're suited? So it'll be interesting to see if our youngest daughter, we have a family rule: you have to have a job when you're 14, and today's her 14th birthday. So it'll be interesting to see if she goes the route of Hot Little Biscuit or if she decides to do something else. I don't know. But I think just honest, open communication is what's most important, and these are the rules, and you can either work here or not.
Right. How do you communicate with your employees these days?
Well, I try my best to see them as often as possible, and we're kind of disjointed now because we have stores in multiple places. We have a catering division in a different area than our production kitchen is, and then our offices where everybody sits for marketing, HR, and everything is in a different office because we're growing, and our original production facility was too small for us to all stay as we grew. So it's a lot of riding around, but really trying to, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, I see you often at the market, going in, saying hello, how's your day? How's your son? What's going on with your broken arm? Connecting with people. And it's really simple, just acting, or not acting, but showing you care. How are you? What's going on? Are you well? How can I help you? I think that's super important.
How have you been able to connect with people for 15, 16 years now?
I think that I do think we have a great product, thanks to my mom's foundation of teaching me how to make biscuits and sharing her recipes. And I think that that always is a huge help. But, we're human and we make mistakes and they're not always good. Sometimes they're not served well. And so that's where the customer service component comes in. And we have an incredible customer service team that is always going above and beyond to try to make it right, because mistakes happen every day. So I think having a good product, having great customer service, and being authentic, those are my keys to success.
What is the foundation of Callie's Hot Little Biscuit?
Well, we have a saying within our company, be a biscuit, and it means to rise tall, which is to be confident, be warm and buttery on the inside, which is to be kind, and to be open to anyone's jam, which is to be accepting of everyone's differences, because everyone is different. So to me, that is a buttered up version of the golden rule. And if I have to live that, because I'm at the top and it trickles down, and then everybody else has to do the same. And if that happens, then we are living our truth, or the way that I would like our company culture to be. And not only is it a great way to live with or without a biscuit company, it's a great way to be in general. So I love how a biscuit imitates how I want to live my life. And, it's just a great little saying. So
I know you have to run. I have two more questions, but let me follow up on that. What do you hope that your company's culture will be in the next 5, 10 years?
I hope that it will continue to be strong and be more of what I just spoke about. The Be a Biscuit motto is, serving great food, having great customer service, being kind, being open, and being confident.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Let me fast forward. I guess it starts next week, Friday. I think you're on the board of the directors for Charleston Wine and Food, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
What's now this year for Charleston Wine and Food?
Well, there is a lot new for Charleston Wine and Food. As you know, they have moved their culinary headquarters hub out to right by our bakery.
Yes.
At Riverfront Park, which I am super excited to see. I think that's going to be fun. And, I think they are really focused on being open to anyone's jam. How about that?
Yeah.
I think that they've had a couple years to really reflect on how they want to go forward and how they want to be seen and known. And they're really being, in my opinion, trailblazers. And hopefully that will shine through. And, it's always such a fun event. I was just on a call before working on a crabbing adventure. And I just think they're thinking outside of the box and pushing boundaries. And I think that they are going to be the leaders in their group, which is really exciting for Charleston to have a group of people that are pushing the boundaries and saying, this is how we want to do it, and going forward confidently. And when you do that, it's a success. It's going to be a win-win.
What were those boundaries for Charleston Wine and Food Festival maybe a year ago?
I don't know that they even knew. I think that was the great thing about the pandemic, is that it brought a lot of things to light that weren't, they were not talked about. They were not um, addressed, and it was easier to not address it. And so now they are addressing it and they are taking a stand. And I love that. I'm very proud to be a part of an organization that is doing that. And I'm sure there are going to be people that disagree, but everybody has to respect that they are doing what they think is right. And I think that when you lead with kindness and when you lead with being open to anyone and making sure that you are being respectful of anyone, that is always a good thing.
And how are they reflecting on where they want to be next in the next 5 to 10 years?
I don't know that they are reflecting on where they want to be in the next 5 to 10 years. I think that they are making changes and feeling confident that they are making the right decisions, even though change is hard, for them to grow, right? Because they want to grow too. And in order to do that, you have to change.
Mm. With that change, do you see them having multiple locations across the little country in the next couple of years with the festival?
I don't know that they will have multiple locations. I think they will grow and not just stay in the core of downtown Charleston.
Okay.
And I think that's super important. And I think that also lends to them being able to find talent, not just in the core of the downtown Charleston food scene. And I think that's important.
What type of talent are they finding right now?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you go on the website there, they have chefs from all over, but I think it's an opportunity for chefs and restaurant owners and people in the culinary world that weren't getting an opportunity to be recognized. So they're not just thinking about the same core group. They're going out and trying to highlight as many chefs and tell as many stories as possible. And that's always good.
What story do you want people to tell about hot little suppers?
I hope that people find the story of Hot Little Suppers a way for them to connect with their family and friends in the kitchen. And it's an easy, flavorful, delicious, and most importantly, memorable time. So for me, food is about, remember that time when we had that? And I can already see my daughters doing it. And I love that about food. That and the communication of food is a language that we speak. So even if we don't know one another, I can sit down and break bread with you and we will always connect. And that is the magic of food. And so I hope that my Hot Little Suppers cookbook will encourage people to do a lot more of that.
How many barriers have you been able to break really when you're sitting down talking with somebody at the kitchen table?
Oh my gosh. I think that when you can connect with food, even when you have nothing else in common, it gives you it breaks down the barriers, right? So, because food is nothing but comfort and love. And so when you add that into a situation for any human, that is an instant connection.
What recipe describes you?
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope it's a biscuit. Because hopefully it's buttery, and I try to be buttery. Hopefully it's warm.
Yes.
I try to be kind all the time, and I try to be confident and rise tall and be open to anyone. So that is how I hope that I live my life. It's not, everybody's human, and it doesn't always go that way, but that is, my kids would probably say, I don't know, Mom, you're not always kind, but that is my goal.
No, you just don't let certain people and certain things take a hold of you. You stand firm. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm sitting maybe a block away from your restaurant anyways on King Street. I'm hungry, so I have to go over there.
Oh, you're getting hungry. I am too.
I didn't eat anything before I left the house. So I'm like, usually I eat my yogurt and drink my water and That starts my day, but I might have to go get a biscuit today.
All right. That bacon biscuit, right?
Yes. Unhealthy. Well, I know you're so busy, so thank you so much for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's House, by the way.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to chat with you.
Likewise, hope to see you in person soon.
Definitely. All right. Take care.
Likewise.